ODI series. They won that first game thanks to a brilliant 100 from. Won the toss, we know.
There's a lot spoken about that. I think his best role is at the top of the order, where he's got the opportunity to bat those 20 overs. He can make the most of it, potentially when the ball's coming on nicely off the seam, and then he can set himself up if he goes well in that power play for when it's turning, and he can really sort of put a bit of pressure back on the Bangladeshis. So I think, but he knows, it's the bigger picture, I guess. He knows that he's amazing at that role. Whether he's sort of trying to do it to fit in for the team and not necessarily for himself, then that's another question. But I wouldn't be surprised to see him at the back of the top of the order.
They've said it's to do with the left-handers as well.
Break those up.
Break the left-handers up.
Do you buy that?
I don't buy it. I said the other day, I would want Buttler just opening now in every T20 international there is. In fact, every T20 game there is. He's just the best in the business at it. So why paper over the cracks in the middle order and move someone, your genius, down there? You know, also, if you think about it, if your two openers, Salt and Buttler, go hard, which they will, they'll never chew up deliveries. They will get off to a flyer, or one of them will get out, and then immediately you have left-hand, right-hand anyway. So, and then Shakib has to decide what type of bowler he's going to bowl to them. So I'd have Buttler at the top of the order.
Matthew, they're talking about they're better for the experience and they're learning, etc., and that's why they didn't drag in batsmen as cover for the injuries that they've had. But I've also read that people feel that perhaps England have disrespected Bangladesh in some way by not strengthening the squad. Do you buy that?
No, I don't think so. I've read that as well. I don't think that is the case. I said the other day that I personally would have had an extra batter. You're trying on this journey to that. From. They're going to have Bairstow, Roy, the openers from the last World Cup, possibly Hales, we don't know, but he played well in the T20 World Cup. You've got Malan, Root, Duckett, Brook, Salt, Buttler, Moeen Ali, Livingston and Will Jacks. So you're going to go from a situation where you haven't got a lot of batting to where you've suddenly got so many batters coming back from form and fitness and from franchises, and they're going to have to get them into a World Cup squad. So they are very, very well poised for that World Cup. The next decision is going to have to be which one of those they choose, or which ones of those they choose for the squad.
Bizarrely, they won't get together again, the white ball squad, as Nasser was saying, until the back end of the summer. It's an extraordinary, August 30th, it's an extraordinary state of affairs that Matthew Mott won't get a team in a dressing room together until August the 30th.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the good thing about this white ball side is obviously they're chopping and changing with the names on the team sheet at the minute, but they've been together for quite a long time and they're a close unit. And I think as a test side, what we've tried to do is we've tried to really come close together, and that's what the white ball side did post that Australia World Cup and under Eoin Morgan. So I think they're in a pretty good place as a group, as a team, and I think there's a lot of cricket to be played before then as well, where they're going to gain their confidence. But then it's one of those teams that as soon as they're together, they sort of gel and get fall back into place, and the banter's flowing again, and that doesn't take long for them to get back running.
I know they're saying they're sort of overtraining, and the pitches in India probably won't spin, certainly like the one we saw on Sunday. When you first went out and experienced subcontinental conditions where it was ragging square, what was the biggest challenge you found? And what was the biggest lesson that you learnt as a batsman?
I think that India tour that we went on was probably the extreme of that in Test cricket, playing in Ahmedabad and Chennai when the pitches were turning square. But then looking back on the dismissals, a lot of the wickets that get you out are the ones that go straight on rather than the ones that beat your outside edge. So from a defensive point of view, is exactly that: protect your inside edge, protect your pad, and then if they beat you on the outside, then that's okay. So that was probably my biggest lesson, but it's also trying to find a way to put pressure back on the bowlers. I think in England you can almost rotate, you can get your singles, you can play pretty classical shots and score at 4 and over without really taking a risk. But I think in those extreme conditions, what I thought was almost trying to hit your 4s and 6s. I think if you can have your clear boundary options to find a way to revert the pressure back on the bowler and hit him off his length, then that's probably the biggest lesson I took away from it.
Ollie makes an excellent point, actually, in that this generation now of cricketers in the subcontinent are so much more difficult because of DRS. You know, you look at Jadeja and Akshar Patel, who are doing you as a right-hander on the inside edge, and you go back to us kicking Murali. You know, Graham Thorpe kicked Murali for fun outside the off stump, as did I, badly. But, you know, Kumar and people like that used to use their front pad. Jimmy Paddams, we used to call them. You never got away with it. This lot, they miss them. And even we're talking Test cricket, but even in white ball cricket with DRS, you know, you have to play out in front. So when it's spinning or it spins occasionally, it does become harder, as they found out the other day. You know, if Bangladesh can get a score here now today, they played the extra spinner. This could well be another low-scoring one. It'll be fascinating to see how Bangladesh go about it. When chasing, they've knocked it for 2s and 3s. They've not tried the big shot too much. So whether they just try and get a par score and say to England, we've got an extra spinner, good luck. I think it's nicely set up today with the way the toss has gone.
One of the big pluses for England on this tour so far, if we go right back to the first ODI, was surely the way Dawid Malan guided that run chase on a very, very challenging pitch. The comments at times about Dawid have been that he plays the ball better above the waist high, so he's more comfortable in Australia, South Africa, or wherever. What did he do so well, would you say, in this innings, in terms of reading the conditions and the calm nature when he went about it? And what are his great strengths, would you say, as a white ball batter?
Yeah, exactly that. I think he almost got that reputation for a little bit, but he's gone and had success in all these T20 tournaments in places like Bangladesh. I think he was out there earlier this year.
He's played 50 T20 games in Bangladesh before this series started.
So I think that's obviously put him in really good stead. I think he reverse sweeps very well. He's got a really simple game if you look at it. There's not too much that can go wrong with it. So especially when the ball's not moving around, especially in white ball cricket, he sort of shows that full face of the bat, and he's got a really sort of clean strike of the ball. But yeah, he sort of tries to put pressure on especially their spinners with his reverse sweep. He's played so much T20 now, he's played a lot of white ball cricket, and he knows his game inside out, and he trusts that. He's not necessarily going to be someone who hits 110 metre 6, but he's someone who might score you that 100, runnable 100, even less, and get the job done, and that's what he's been very good at in white ball cricket now for a long time.
The other plus point came in game 2 with the bat, and that was your mate Jason Roy, who had a fallow period, obviously left out of the T20 World Cup, scored that 100 in South Africa, and then a fantastic innings in that second game. He's gone on to pummel it around in the PSL. Is Jason a character that frets about his form and stuff, would you say? Because he's, from a distance, whether he's doing well or doing badly, he's incredibly emotive. Is he an emotive sort of guy?
Yeah, I think we all are. I think when you do find bad form, naturally it does weigh down on you. And it can get you down, and it can affect how you go forward a little bit. But I think I saw how he trained. I was getting ready for my Pakistan series, and I think he was getting ready to go to Australia. And I saw he was in every day, and I saw a real change in sort of probably mindset a little bit, and the amount of work that he was putting into his game, because he realised this is a chance. And the runs didn't come for that series in Australia for him, but he's obviously reaping the rewards of that hard work that he put in behind the scenes now, and it's great to see, because he's obviously such an entertaining player to play with, but also to watch. So I couldn't be happier for him, and he deserves this success as well.
I mean, even in that innings I was watching at home, he was incredibly frenetic to start with. He could have been out 5 times, he chipped it over, whatever. And that's the difference between T20, which we're going to see today, and 50 over. In T20, sometimes Jason, when he gets like that, he just keeps going and he gets out. In 50 over cricket, we've seen once in South Africa, then the other day, is that he just gives himself a couple of overs, because Jason Roy will catch up. He's such a talent that he will then smash it. It's the difference between 50 over and T20 and even the 100, and that's why in the 100 we see such disparity and not too many close games, because when sides get behind, they just panic and think we've completely run out of deliveries, and in fact you just have that little bit longer. Even today here on this pitch, 20 overs is a long time. Just give yourself a little bit of time, and you may not get a 30 ball 50, but a 40 ball 50 could win you the game.
Which is what Shanto did well, actually, in the last game.
It is, and you know exactly how you want to play, and you've got that clarity. And yeah, he played really nicely. He took the positive option when he needed to, and he had guys that came in around him, and then took that positive option as well. And I think that was probably the difference between the two sides, was him going on and getting a late 40s score, but our guys probably didn't manage to do that and got out in their 20s. So I think you almost, on a pitch like this, need someone to really back through, and then you can have guys come in and play cameos around.
Well, England are bowling today in this game, and the other positive, or one of the big positives, is the fact that Jofra Archer is back, and not only back, he bowled quickly when he needed to in that last game.
Yeah, he bowled with pace, 92, 93 mile an hour. He varied it as well. He's always had those cutters and those slower balls. He's a very smart cricketer, but the pace was the key. And not so much we knew Jofra could bowl that pace, but it shows the confidence in his body,
right,
that he can go out and say, right, today the skipper needs me to run in and bowl a spell. It's only 4 overs, and there are trickier challenges, he has said, in the last couple of days. He'll be surprised, or he'll be pleased if he plays more than one Ashes Test match. But from where he was to where he is now, just today, playing again today. I know they've got limited resources, but you could have got Mark Wood. I don't know what the state of Reece Topley's quad is, but the fact that he's played 3 on the bounce and hopefully gets through to that exactly sort of pace and rhythm, that's a really good sign and a real good positive. From where Jofra a few months ago.
England have won the toss, and they will be bowling in this final T20 out in Mirpur.
Sell your car the motorway way. We're dealers to give you their best price.
UK.
Gillette Labs. New Neon Night Edition. A razor unlike any outing action, and exceptional comfort. Enjoy the shaving and exfoliation in one stroke. Put your best face forward. With new Gillette Labs Neon Night Edition, the ultimate shave or your money back.
Saga Holidays. What springs to mind? You probably think we're constantly stopping for tea. It's not entirely unfair. You think we like just pootling along? You probably think we have regular afternoon lie-downs. Oh, yes, a holiday with stories of everything and a little bit more.
Discover tailor-made travel by Saga at
You already know us. Hiding something from us. I need to tell you something.
After this, which your judgment?
Things the plot say.
So now the hunt is on.
Witches of Sim, Mondays at 9 on Sky History.